It was a different mentality, though, Barrett. Barrett, this guy's bringing the house.
Everything. Yep.
Who the personnel was.
That's right. That's right.
He just kept bringing it. Gannon is kind of playing it like a CPA. Do I play here? Do I bring it here? Do I bring it here? Hey, man, when you're a defensive-minded guy, defense is not a position. It's an attitude. Yep. And if you don't have that attitude to go out there and knock people on their ass like that and be completely committed to doing that, you're not going to be.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Tuesday. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. Just wrap things up with with Jeff McClain. We're now joined by Dan Sileo. You can check out Dan each and every day, 3 to 6 Eastern time, here on JAKIB Sports YouTube Network with the National Football Show. He's got the hat on, the U. He is rocking. He's representing as always. There it is. And Dan was on fire in the chat section today. So we said, you know what? We got to get this man on. So Dan, let's hit it, man. Let's talk about some of the things. Barrett was going through some of the stuff with the defensive line, which is your expertise, obviously, and what you saw, Jordan Davis, approach, Gannon, the whole nine. What was your thought on what went down with the Lions' ability to rush so well?
Since day one when I met Barrett, he's been saying this about the front of the Eagles, that they get killed on first down. It has not been addressed yet. And the entire scheme and schematics on how he's put this thing together, Jonathan Gannon, is inside out. He believes that his linebackers are the strength of the football team when the investment in the money, the first rounders, everything is all in the front seven. It's all in the front four there. And what you guys have doing now, if you're looking at that locker room and you're in those rooms going, so you're asking me to create scrape lanes for the linebackers, and you're asking me to two-gap. You're taking away Jordan Davis's greatest strength, which is his athleticism. These guys need to be creating penetration and another line of scrimmage on the other side of the ball. They're getting knocked off the ball, and that means the scrape lane is – think about this, Rob. If you're getting knocked off the ball, one, they're out of shape. Two, they're not committed. And I'll get to the commitment part here in a minute. If you get knocked off the ball, that linebacker now has to back up even more now. You're giving 3 yards at the start of the play. You fall forward 5 yards. So just the way their alignment is and the fact they're getting knocked off the ball. Secondly, when you're paying two guys a combination of $30 million, I mean, and you're asking them to be a slug for the guys behind me to make plays, they're not committed. You've got to be committed to do that style, which this is what they want them to do, guys. Keep the guys up front, hold them, let the linebackers go down the line of scrimmage here. Their strength's not in their backers. Even though Kaiser White has been an absolute find, that's not the strength of their team. Hassan Reddick is looking around like his head is on a swivel because he truly doesn't know what to do. I mean, I was talking to Derek Gunn, too, about this. Third team in 3 years, there's a reason for that. He can't play the run. He can't cover tight ends. He's not very good at covering backs out of the backfield. He's a one-dimensional guy. That's why Arizona moved off him. His former college coach moved off him. It's because he's one-dimensional. You play him on first and second and third down, I'm going to get a guy like Barrett, and I'm going to run at him. By week 13, he won't be on the field, let alone the team. There's a lack of commitment in this front here. They're losing first down. The first thing I watched, Barrett, was they must have lost first down 10 times in drives.
I keep telling people that. First down is their Achilles heel. It's easy to play defense when you're 2nd and 4, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. It's easy to play defense because your playbook is so big. You can't expect for you to be aggressive in your play calling if you're 3rd and 2. You just can't do it.
And Barrett, Gannon's situational play calling on his blitzing. Yesterday I was listening to you, D-Gun. So he blitzes early, but then when you're 31-17, you stop blitzing and you allow them to come back into the game.
Thank you.
I mean, Jared, what is the one thing that you're trying to do to Jared Goff? You're trying to move him off his point.
Right. That's right.
Every quarterback has a spot that they like to get to in a comfort zone in the pocket. He cannot. That's what frustrated Sean McVay with him, is that every time they brought pressure on that guy, he became inconsistent. There was a stretch in the game on Sunday where the Eagles had 3 and outs. There were like 3 of them in a row. They were moving him around in the pocket.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, late in the game, you're up 31-17. You allow that guy to get back in it because you're not bringing pressure.
Yes.
I mean,
Hey, did Aaron Glenn stop bringing pressure? Did you see Aaron Glenn stop?
Why don't you? And where's Hassan Reddick in the 4th?
So, Dan, is your issue more Gannon or players? Like, who is it? Would it fall more on Gannon then, the way he's approaching these things?
It's all of it, because you have to have player accountability too. Mm-hmm. I don't think the defensive tackles in the triangle is committed to doing what he wants them to do. I would do what Barrett said. Go back in the history. Even Buddy Ryan's 46. They had Otis Wilson, they had Singletary, and they had Wilbur Marshall. That team did not run through them. It went through Hampton. It went through McMichael. It went through Dent.
Yeah.
That's what that front was. The Eagles gained Green. Great linebackers with Seth, right? Mm-hmm. Man, it was that front 4 with Jerome and with Reggie that controlled the game. Yep. You tell Barrett, right? If I can have 4 guys control a game versus your 5, I win every day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Dan, I've said in all my 4 decades plus of covering this team, covering this game, I've seen it too many times. You bring in certain players that excel in one system that become average players in another system. And if I wonder, does Gannon know how to utilize the players in the system, or if the players he brought in the system don't fit his so-called scheme?
How about this? I think it's a communication issue. You bring in CJ, he had 9 days to learn the whole thing, and I thought he played as well as he possibly could play.
I agree.
But D-Gun, think of this. You had 5 new dudes in the starting lineup.
Yep.
Okay, on Sunday. How many times, even on the offensive side in the O-line, did you see Isaac Seumalo going, what's the snap? What's the front? Odd or even? What? How many times are they going back? And so what Barrett said, the lack of reps that they had, quality reps in games. Do you know starting quarterbacks who did not play? And I know that Jalen was one of them, but starting quarterbacks who did not play in the exhibition season, it was 3 and 8. Okay. And to me, when you're not getting quality reps, look, that organized team scrimmages and all that, they're okay. And exhibition football, you can take it for what it is. But Phil Simms said it on our show. Those are quality reps. They're game tempo. That team did not look like it was in shape. Right. It did not look like it understood game tempo. And that's where you have poor angles and poor tackling. And pre-snap penalties, that's the thing that aggravates me the most. You don't have to have any athletic ability. You don't have to be in shape for it, but you do have to know where to line up. That comes down, right, that comes down, Rob, to like preparation and having reps. Pre-snap penalties are the worst, and they had 10 penalties in that game because they didn't have quality reps.
Dan, what was your sense of Hurts' game? Obviously he was under some duress. There's no question about that. A lot of rushes, and as a defensive lineman, you're going to tee off if you can get to this guy. He took a lot of blows, man, in that game.
I'll tell you, they don't win the game without him.
Yep.
I'll say this. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, how many times did you see him put a knife in the back of the D coordinator when it was 3rd and 8, and he broke that down, and he does not win. The problem, though, for me, again, is, I mean, AJ's TO, and I heard you say that, you guys say that, and he is, though. But the problem is still this. He's still one read, and nothing really has gotten better. I mean, you had Goddard going. He had 20 yards a catch. Why didn't you – I thought AJ should have had 255 yards in the game if they would have spread it around a little bit more. The key in that game, there were 2 things. It wasn't really AJ. He was special. Miles Sanders, though, he was the guy that kept that whole thing with play action honest. But the offensive line, and I brought this up with Barrett a little bit ago. Look, I think they're great run blockers, but I thought they got smoked outside of lane. I thought Mulata got handled at times by Aiden Hutchinson. I thought the inside guys were also pushed around a little bit, especially in the middle. There was
who's number 79?
Dude, he was pushing people around in there, man. I mean, I don't know if Kelsey's completely healthy too. That could be a factor in. He didn't have a lot of reps, but boy, I'll tell you something, man. There were points in that game. I thought the Lions on both sides of the football were dominating the Eagles on both sides, and that was a shocker to me.
I just know. From just watching the game, breaking it down. I just posted some where I just thought Glenn had his guys playing at a higher level than our team, than the Eagles.
It was a different mentality, though,
Yeah,
Barrett. This guy's bringing the house.
Everything. Yep.
Who the personnel was.
That's right. That's right.
He just kept bringing it. Gannon is kind of playing it like a CPA. Do I play here? Do I bring it here? Do I bring it here? Hey, man, when you're a defensive-minded guy, defense is not a position. It's an attitude. Yep. And if you don't have that attitude to go out there and knock people on their ass like that and be completely committed to doing that, you're not going to be. And I would tilt Jordan Davis. And by the way, I know you guys may not want to say this. Fletcher Cox does not belong in the starting lineup, let alone on the team. That $14.4 million that they gave him, dude, he's been a no-show for 2 years now. And I'm going to say this to you. I don't know. Maybe you guys think completely different, but hey, man, that's not a $14 million player. And
yeah, but Dan, because they paid him $14 million is the reason why he's going to be on the field.
That's terrible.
It is. You got to justify the money.
That's a fundamental mistake by the general manager to bring him back, because you know why? They're concerned about the kid. And you know what? Barrett brings us up. You're concerned about the guy you drafted 13th's conditioning. Hey, son, this is no longer on scholarship. Right. This is an NFL. This is a job, dude. Get your fat ass in shape and get out there and play, because, dude, seriously, 13. If I'm drafting Vince Wilfork, there's a problem. That guy needs to be a younger version of Fletcher Cox, not Vince Wilfork. Okay, if he's only on first and second down, I said this to Barrett when we were doing that show before. He had 9 sacks in 43 games. That's not a lot of production. Okay, now some would go, well, he played with really great players at Georgia. Well, there's really great players in the NFL too. Okay, I mean, dude, get your fat ass in shape, dude, because you can start on this team. However, you're not going to, because how he plays Moneyball, got $30 million tied up in that triangle. And to me, the strength of your football team is not your linebackers; it's your front four.
Absolutely, you just got to put him out there, man. He's got to play. He doesn't know game shape yet because they haven't made him get in game shape yet. Not in college, not in high school. He's got to.
It's a league thing, though, too, Barrett. You know, it's not just an Eagle thing.
Yeah.
It's a league thing.
Yeah.
But you know, when you tilt him, this is why I said tilt him. Because if you tilt him, you're asking him to do one thing: get penetration and get up, and you keep that guy off the linebacker. Even if you're on the backside, instead of getting your head front side, you can at least push him and create off the back end and come behind him and make plays. That team and that front four needs to get more penetration, or you know what's going to happen? Dalvin Cook's going to go for $130 on this team on Monday night, because you got play action set up out there with Justin Jefferson. You got an offensive quarterback who last year had the least amount of interceptions. I know people hate the guy, but I'll tell you who doesn't hate him. That's Justin Jefferson. At 188 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that guy is on pace to have the greatest season again this year. I think he's the top wideout in the game.
Dan, how much of what you saw from the Eagles generally is fixable? In other words, you just referenced it's a lot of the league, sloppiness, that kind of stuff, week one, because of the lack of preseason we have now and all that. How much is fixable going forward?
Listen, they got the best. How about this? I'll take that back. They got the deepest roster in the NFC. And with Dak's injury, it's all fixable. But again, it's a mindset on the defensive side of the ball. I could guarantee you Jeff Stoutland must have reamed these guys a new one yesterday on what they did in pass protection. He must have crushed them. Outside of Lane, they got killed, okay? Do I think that gets better? I do, because their talent is in their O-line also on that side of the football. I think that gets better. But again, Rob, schematically, this guy thinks his strength is in the linebacking core. It's not in the linebacking core. Kaiser's good. Those guys are great. But when you get a defense that's getting knocked off the ball like that, your linebackers are voided.
I don't know if you can equate running around and being able to go out there and do sprints to game speed.
Right.
You just can't do it. So the only way these guys are going to get in shape is if you go out there and play in games. And when you're not given an opportunity to play in games, how do you get in game shape?
Dude, you got to run after practice, man. Be committed.
Bro,
hey, Barrett,
I don't see a lot of that. I didn't see a lot of it in camp. I've been screaming this since training camp, right, guys? I was like, guys,
yeah.
I don't see a lot of guys running after. I see as soon as practice is over, I see guys running in. I see guys running to the water ice, but I don't see them running after practice.
Too many clock punchers. Okay, too many clock punchers, man. You're listening. You're reading your press clippings and such. What do you mean, man? If you're not in shape, right now, Jordan Davis is a football team not being out there more because when he's in there, 2.9 yards per carry. When he's not in there, 10 yards a carry on first down. Dude, you got to get him in there, man. And babying him, by the way, Nakobe Dean, where's this kid? Is he good or not?
3 snaps.
Where the hell is he, man? I mean, don't give me, he's a young guy. They'll bring him up. Shit, man. What linebacker outside of Kaiser White played well against the Lions? I'm just saying, you surrendered 35 points and almost 400 yards to that team. That team will win 6 games, the Lions, with Jared Goff as the quarterback on it, okay? They'll win 6 games. Will they play tougher? Hey, when you come away, Rob, from that game, you know what I said? I think the Lions got better. I kind of think the Eagles, I don't know, they showed up, punched their clock, and went home. I mean, the Lions got killed last year, 44-6.
Yep.
And get this, they ran for 238. They did everything at will. There were sacks galore. I don't know. I thought the Lions closed the gap.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Dan, listen, man, thanks for hopping on, dude. We can't.
Hey, man, appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, about an hour and 10 minutes.
Hey, man, I'll just say this, Rob. These two dudes, man, they got to teach me how to, barbecue, man, because I've been telling D. Gunn, I've been fired. Right. My old lady fired me, man.
His wife fired him from the grill.
She said,
we're all playing for second place.
My wife goes, I tried cooking a filet mignon. She goes, this looks like a hockey puck, man.
Yes. These guys make me look bad. Look, it doesn't take much to make me look bad, but they make me look bad. That's for sure. Dan, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple minutes.
Be good, bro.
We'll see Dan on the National Football Show coming up at 3:00. Yeah, look, a lot of really good insights there, man. A lot of good insights from Dan on a lot of levels.